Broadcasting from the deserts of sunny Arizona, you're listening to I've Got a Plan, hosted by Tim Fiskus, a podcast focusing on the two-player experience of Arkham Horror the card game. Join me as I take two investigators through a campaign, stopping along the way to talk tactics, strategy, and whine about the whims of the Chaos Bag. Let's have fun! Hello and welcome to I've Got a Plan. We are starting a brand new campaign today. Thanks for joining me. If you haven't watched this podcast before, I will be taking two investigators through the return to the Path to Carcosa. I just wrapped up a Skids and Daisy play through the entirety of the return to the Dunwich Legacy. And so I'm moving into the new product just released a couple days ago. In fact, released yesterday where I am. And we are set up for Return to Curtain Call. Now, this entire campaign will be a blind run for me, so I think that's always kind of fun to watch, see what sort of devilish tricks they have made to make these scenarios a little bit harder, or maybe just shake up the experience a little bit. I've played through the Path to Carcosa quite a few times. I would say probably in the full campaign between 7 and 10 times with various teams of investigators. This team is brand new to me. So we are going to be facing the challenges of Hester, I can say that at this point in the campaign, with the investigators Mark Harrigan and Lola Hayes. Now, Lola is not exactly known for being a powerhouse investigator, but I always have a bit of a soft spot for her. Back in my days of playing Magic the Gathering, as I think a lot of the gamers from Arkham Horror at least have dabbled in some way or another with Magic. I was a big fan of playing multicolor decks, as many colors as I could get away with. I played Prismatic, so Lola sort of appeals to my multicolor nature. And I really like the fact that you can make her deck up out of a little smattering of just about everything. Unfortunately, she's not particularly great, though as the card pool has grown, so have her capabilities at being a very valuable member of a team. She is paired up with Mark Harrigan, who is a Guardian that is about as Guardian as Guardians get. His deck building is all Guardian and neutral. He's allowed to take tactic cards, which are sometimes from other colors, but in general, his deck is all blue and neutral. So Mark is going to be the brawn of this operation, and Lola is going to be the brains. Although Lola has definitely some ability to hold her own in combat in this deck. And Mark can do just a little bit of cluing. You know, Sophie gives him the opportunity to get a +2, maybe even 2 +2s if you're feeling sassy, to be able to grab a clue exactly when you need it. And with a couple of the new cards that have been released, including things like the Hallowed Mirror and the Emergency Aid, there's going to be some really nice options for Mark to get rid of some damage, and so he can be a little bit more aggressive in taking damage, and therefore drawing cards and being able to pass tests. So I think this is going to be a really fun and interesting playthrough. Let's talk a little bit about the decks that I'm using. These decks are both based on decks that have been published on Arkham DB by other players. My Mark Harrigan deck was posted by a user by the name of Sushi Toast, who posted this deck. It's called Hey Buddy, Catch This. Meant to eventually grow into a grenade slinging deck, and has a lot of the Mark Harrigan ammo and gun sort of shenanigans. And I haven't played a character like that in quite some time. I played Skids in the last campaign, and he had a little bit of gunplay going on, but not like a pure Guardian is going to have. So I'm looking forward to that. I will post a link to that deck in the description of this first video, but I have made some edits to the deck for sure. One of the edits that I've made to this deck, I will go ahead and put the deck contents up on the screen here for you, is I have replaced added in the Hallowed Mirror, and I have added in a pair of handcuffs, and both of those replaced the Enchanted Blade, which was in his deck list. I think the Enchanted Blade is terrific for Mark, but it's also pretty darn good for Lola. And so Lola's got 2 Enchanted Blades in her deck, so I had to borrow those because I didn't have 4 copies of an Enchanted Blade to play with. I have also replaced in this deck the 2 copies of Act of Desperation, because those also went into Lola's deck, because I want Lola slinging around empty fingerprint kits. So the Act of Desperations are in Lola's deck, which I'll talk about in just a second. But Mark's deck, instead of the Acts of Desperation, I've added in a copy of Interrogate and a copy of Prepared for the Worst. Since I had dropped the 2 Enchanted Blades, and my plan here is to be able to start upgrading some things into Blackjack level 2, which is actually a really good card. Blackjack level 1 or level 0 is garbage, but level 2 is really actually a pretty good card in 2 players. So I'm hoping to be able to grab a couple of Blackjack level 2s pretty quick, and then I'll be shuffling those ones out of the deck, or rotating those out of the deck as I level up. But for now, I'm going to try out an Interrogate and a Prepared for the Worst. I've never played with Interrogate before, and it seems pretty well suited for Mark's 5 strength right off the bat. And let's talk a little bit about Lola's deck. Lola's deck is based on a deck called Lola Queen of the Silver Screen by user Matastrophe. He put together a really interesting Lola deck that is based on maximizing the ability to stay in Survivor, which has no permanence, and then using the permanence from other colors to be able to avoid the Crisis of Identity and keep your internal damage control down to a minimum. Essentially, Lola will kind of pick what she's going to do in a turn, whether that's going to be cluing or whether it'll be attacking, and she'll swap between primarily Guardian, Seeker, and Mystic, and then just do a swap into Survivor when she has something to play during the Mythos phase or during the off parts of the turn. Survivor is meant to be a no permanent class, so I think it'll be really pretty interesting. Lola is one of the featured investigators in the Return to Path to Carcosa, because she is the actress and was an actress in the performance of The King in Yellow, which is the setting for the Return to Curtain Call that we are going to be starting here shortly. Lola starts backstage, whereas every other investigator in the game starts in the theater. So we have a little bit of a unique starting situation when you play with Lola, which I think is pretty cool. And I wish that they did that a little bit more in campaigns. They had in the Forgotten Age, if you had one of a number of different characters, I think it was Ursula Downs and Leo Anderson and Monterey Jack, who hasn't been released yet, then they were required to be the lead investigator, because they were the ones that are going to be good at hacking through the jungle. So I like that kind of thing. I think that's pretty neat. It sort of inspires you to try out those investigators first when you're running through the campaign. And then you can get wacky and do other stuff. So my intention here with this particular series is to play through the entirety of the Return to Path to Carcosa, or as long as Mark and Lola can survive. Halfway through, we hit the Return to the Unspeakable Oath, and that is a scenario that can be a change point where investigators might not make it out of the asylum. And so this scenario is starting with Mark and Lola, but who knows who it's going to end with, or this campaign might end with different investigators altogether, and that's okay too. So I'll keep you all posted as we go. I'm going to try to make some of the suggested deck upgrades that the users, Sushi Toast and Matastrophe, recommended, though I will probably go my own way on a couple of choices as well, because some new cards have been released with the Return to Path to Carcosa. Namely, Mark Harrigan has Colts in his 32 Colts in his deck, and I really want to try out the new level 2 32 Colt that was just released. And I also would like to give a try to some of the new cards coming out in the Dream Eaters within the next few weeks. Some of those have been previewed as well, and I think that would be cool to get those worked in as we go. I definitely have no problem working in new cards as they get released. I always want to try out new stuff, But these decks are made up of stuff from all throughout the history of the game, from the core set all the way up through all of the different campaigns. And we're returning back to the Path to Carcosa, which is one of my favorite, and I think a lot of players' favorites campaigns. Just really solid all the way through. And Curtain Call is no exception. A terrific scenario, a very difficult scenario for a first scenario. So I'm curious to see if this return to the Curtain Call has made it easier or has made it harder in any way. I certainly hope it hasn't made it too much harder. But from what I've been able to see so far, I've only just peeked at a couple of the cards as I was shuffling them in. I do know that they have made the Royal Emissary a little tougher to deal with. So that's an interesting development because he was not exactly a walk in the park to begin with. So that said, we will go ahead and get this started. Return to Curtain Call. You turn over the folded program in your hand, reading it for what seems like the 100th time. Miskatonic Playhouse presents The King in Yellow, it reads. A special one-night engagement at Arkham's very own Ward Theater. An irresistible drama in 2 acts. Production staged and directed by Nigel Ingram. The cast is a small ensemble, with one unattributed credit at the end. The Stranger. To have such a highly anticipated play come to Arkham all the way from Paris is a noteworthy event, even if it is just for one night. For weeks leading up to the show, it was the talk of the town. It seemed so unassuming. And yet, you have evidence of something sinister is at work. It started with the disappearance of one of the stagehands at the theater, a boy of only 17 who missed rehearsal one night and was never seen again. Then, less than 2 weeks before the performance, there was a musician whose corpse was found with a gun in its mouth. Perhaps most chilling was the crazed man the coppers had picked up in Independence Square who had been ranting and raving about the King's return. He was brought to Arkham Asylum, and you were surprised to discover that he was not alone in his delusions. Finding these events suspicious, you and your companions have delved deeper into the matter. Although no connection can be proven, these weren't the only strange events surrounding the up-and-coming play. Instances of suicide and madness have followed in its wake, and you are determined to discover why. The lights in the auditorium dim, and a spotlight shines on the stage. What unfolds is not quite what you expected. Slow-paced and monotonous, the first act of The King in Yellow is a tedious bore. The setting and characters are compelling, but the meandering and nonsensical story does little to entertain or inform. You begin to wonder whether the dreadful events surrounding The King in Yellow aren't connected after all. Perhaps it was just your overactive imagination. How could such a trivial and unassuming show cause such pandemonium? You are surprised when the first act closes without any rising action or revelation. The lights rise for the intermission, and you consider leaving early, stifling a yawn. Before you are able to decide, however, you find yourself drifting to sleep. Lola Prologue. Act 1 came and went without a hitch, as it often did in rehearsal. You couldn't help but notice the blank, dismissive expressions on many of the audience members' faces, and you wonder how the audience will react to the play's disturbing second half. The role of Casilda is tiresomely boring for the first half of the play, although you enjoy portraying her regal charm. You find yourself missing your previous co-star, Miriam Twain, and suddenly the dread and regret you had felt in Paris comes flooding back. With a sigh, you retreat to a dark corner backstage to escape the sounds of stagehands preparing for the next scene. You try to quell your emotions and replace your thoughts with those of Casilda's, her hopes, her fears, her fate. Just then, you catch the stranger staring at you from afar, and you find yourself shaking at the mere sight of him. Even though they continue to replace the actor who plays the stranger before each show, and indeed many times during rehearsals, you know that this last-minute replacement is the most horrid of them all. Realizing you never caught his name, a shiver of terror courses through your spine. Have you found your way back to the wolves like a lost lamb? You cannot look away. His gaze is inescapable. Everything goes black. So we have arrived at the Ward Theater, and here we are for curtain call. The setup for the scenario is the same as it is for the original curtain call. We have the theater in the middle connected both directions to the backstage and the lobby. The lobby is also connected to the balcony, which you can jump down off the balcony onto the theater stage, but cannot go the other direction, which makes sense. The backstage is connected to two backstage doorways. Now that is only the case because Lola starts backstage. So when you reveal the backstage, you place two of the backstage doorways into play. So that's what these two are here. We don't know, I'll move this a little bit better into the camera range here. We don't know anything about these locations. There are, in the return to Path to Carcosa, there is a new backstage doorway location and a new lobby doorway location, and those have just been shuffled in. I don't know if one of these is one of the, if they're both the old ones or one of them is the new one. I don't know, and I don't know what the new one does either, so that's kind of fun. Mark is at the theater, Lola is at the backstage, and we are at Agenda 1A, the third act. The theater is eerily silent. The old wooden floor creaks beneath your feet, and a light rain gently patters on the roof as you explore the auditorium. There are more rotting corpses among the seats, and the rest of the crowd has vanished. 6 Doom Threshold. Act 1A, Awakening. You pinch yourself to see if you are dreaming, and sure enough, your skin stings and reddens. You take a few deep breaths to try to think rationally. Whatever's going on, you must explore the theater to learn the truth of the matter. This is a 6-clue threshold in order to be able to advance the act. So Lola and Mark need to get their clue searching on. Mark is in the theater. There are no clues there. Lola's backstage. There is 1 clue within a 3-shroud location backstage. And we are going to be ready to draw our starting hands. So Mark, of course, starts with Sophie in play. Because we're going to be starting the campaign, I'll go ahead and show you what Sophie looks like and what she does. She cannot leave play, and as a free triggered action, you may take a direct damage. You get +2 to your skill for this skill test. So, and that is a free triggered action, so you could do it multiple times, take multiple direct damage in order to get a bunch of big boosts. Obviously, that has a little top limit because Mark only has 9 health. So I do have some extra soak in here, of course, as Mark enjoys doing, and we have some healing. So Mark's special ability allows him to draw a card whenever damage is placed on a card he controls, once per phase, but that is a good amount of card draw. So I feel pretty good about his chances of getting the Hallowed Mirror out and being able to do some healing. The Hallowed Mirror I attempted to make that part of my Skids and Daisy campaign, if you follow it along with that one I just wrapped up last week. But try as I might, I wasn't able to get that card drawn into Skid's hand. He had it in his deck. We eventually drew it in the last scenario, but we were lambasted by the Great Old One before we were able to make that work. So I'm thinking that Mark Harrigan's going to have a little bit better luck with that. And Lola doesn't start with anything in play, but she does, if you'll notice over here on her card, I have set up a series of 6 colored beads, and I'll be using those to indicate which current class that she is, and whether or not I have made her free ability to switch that round, already done that round. So I'll just be taking these beads and placing them onto Lola's card. That will indicate what her current roll is, and then whenever I change rolls, I'll just move it back off of here, and I'll just mark it that it's been changed in her little not broken token. Who makes these? Buy the same token collector's trays for the investigators. I've opted for Lola in purple because I like the color purple, and I think that's a really nice bright matte for doing a video. I will try to explain as much as I can as I go, so if you haven't played through Curtain Call, I'll try to guide you through that, but I also don't want to dilly-dally, so we can see to the exciting conclusion of Return to Curtain Call. Let's go ahead and grab some starting hands. So Mark's starting 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also, I'm sure you've probably noticed by now, if you've followed my channel, I have dropped the sleeves. I'm no longer playing with sleeves on my video podcast. I found that when I was video editing, I had to end up superimposing some images of cards over cards that glared out too badly, and it ended up being a lot of work just to make it visible, and that was because of the glare on the sleeves. Even though I got matte sleeves, they still glare under the lights that I have in this room. So I tried a couple different settings and never could quite get happy with it. So I have removed the sleeves for the playthrough here. I always otherwise play with sleeves, but I think it'll make this a lot more visible for you guys watching this video. So here we go, 5 cards for Mark. We have Smoking Pipe, On the Hunt, True Grit, and a 32 Colt. All right. Well, I'll keep the Colt for sure, because it'd be good to have a weapon, and I don't have one of those. The Smoking Pipe allows you to heal horror. I do have 2 of those in there, and I think, you know, Mark's got a pretty good chance of taking some horror in this scenario particularly. So I'm going to keep that Smoking Pipe. I will... I don't want to keep the True Grit. Yeah, I'll keep the True Grit also. And then I will go ahead and take the 2 On the Hunts and return them back and replace those with, okay, an Emergency Aid and a Venturer. Nice to have an ally ready to go that he can help replenish the Smoking Pipe or the 32 Colt. And the Emergency Aid will help me bail myself out, let me maybe do a couple tests with Sophie in order to be able to grab some clues. So, not a bad starting hand at all. I'll take that. All right, and then for Lola's starting hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lola is looking at Prepared for the Worst, a fingerprint kit, an emergency cache, Look What I Found, and Unexpected Courage. Okay, well, I don't think I need the Look What I Found if I'm going to do the fingerprint kit. Let's see, 4. It's not bad. The icons on that are pretty good, but I think I'll go ahead and return that and grab something else. So I'll take the Look What I Found out of there, but I'm going to keep the other ones. The resources for Lola are going to be nice. I can go into Seeker to be able to get that fingerprint kit into play and potentially use that right off the bat and get a boost to my intellect. And then the Prepared for the Worst can be played maybe next round to grab me a gun. So yeah, I think I'll do that. And then I will return, I'll ditch the Look What I Found, and I will replace it with a Take Heart. All right. A little bit of card draw, a little bit of resource acceleration there. Nothing too demanding as far as the colors are concerned. And since Mark has a gun, I'm not going to go searching for a weapon with Lola just yet. And through the magic of video editing, the decks are shuffled and ready to go. I did not mention what I had gotten for my basic weaknesses. You might have noticed it when I had it up on the screen, but Mark's basic weakness is one of the new ones from the Return to Path to Carcosa. I don't remember the exact name of it, but it's one that forces you to investigate an already empty location in order to be able to clear it, and if you don't, you're going to lose 2 XP at the end of the scenario. And then Lola's is the Silver Twilight Acolyte, so she has an enemy in her deck ready to pounce at any time. So I figure since she's going to be buddies with Mark, an enemy weakness isn't too terrible, but as always, they show up at the worst possible time. And for now, at the beginning, I think I'll want this duo to stay together. Let's talk about the scenario card. The Curtain Call scenario card is very straightforward. Right now, all we have is skulls. Skulls are -1 and -3 if you have 3 or more horror on you. So if we can keep our horror down, then the skulls are pretty harmless. And honestly, the bag at the beginning of this campaign is not bad at all. We've got a +1, a couple zeros, 3 -1s, 2 -2s, and then a -3, a -4, 3 skulls, and the Elder Sign and Tentacle. So that's a lot at -2. If you're 2 over the test, that's most of the bag successful. There's only 3 tokens in the bag that don't succeed you at +2. So that's pretty good odds at +2. I'm going to be shooting for that as I go through this scenario, because this scenario, the timing is very crucial. There's not a lot of time, and if you dilly-dally or get bogged down with rats or poltergeists or whatever else have you, this can go quite badly quite quickly. So I'm very much looking forward to see what the new cards have in store for me. Let's get started. Mark starts in the theater, Lola backstage. All right, I've returned actually from a little break in filming. I was filming that first part of the video late last night, but now we are into Saturday morning or Sunday morning, and I have a couple new little surprises that have arrived. I work with a Etsy shop called The Deserted Desert, and they provide me a lot of my tin photo plates and little poker chips and all that kind of stuff, my custom things that I have made for this game to sort of make it my own. And I received a couple things today. So the first one, let me show you here, is a little strip. It's a little metal strip that I had designed with sort of a star background, and it has each of the classes plus neutral and then a little X on the end. And I'm just going to use this to track Lola's active roll, and then also if she's used her ability for the turn to switch roles. I find that one of the harder things to keep track of, and so this little metal strip here, it's made of tin, is a perfect way to do that. Looks great, and that's just going to sit right here on top of her character bar. And then I also received my tin plate from the Path to Carcosa campaign, which I had ordered. So this is the Worlds Collide, and it's the artwork from that card. It shows Mont Saint-Michel meeting Carcosa upside down in the sky. I think it's a super cool image, and so I had that put onto a tin for me. And so I now have a little bit extra Carcosa-ness going on. So let's get ready to start the playthrough. I probably should have warned you before I started the entire video, but it goes without saying that this is going to be spoiler crazy because I'm playing with a new set, and I'm playing with some of the most recent cards to be released, including cards from the Return to Path to Carcosa. So if you are not wanting to be spoiled about anything, it's probably too late in the video for that. But if you want to be spoiled about nothing else going forward, this is probably a good time to stop, go buy yourself a set, play for a little while, and come back. But if you like spoilers or you're interested to see what this set has to offer, let's get this started. Okay, so I'm going to have Mark go ahead and start by scouting out. I think I'm going to go to one of the backstage doorways. Mark's not going to be the one that gets the clues, but he can at least check and see where they are. I think the worst, well, I think the worst thing that used to be able to happen when you entered a backstage doorway was there might be a rats there, which Mark could have, a field day with, without a gun or anything like that. So let's go ahead and let's see. I'd like to get a little bit of soak down from Mark. Let's this round go ahead and play the True Grit for 3. Let's just get that in play. And let me take some tests with Sophie here. Oh, I have Sophie. Oh, she's right. Okay. And that's my first action. And then for action number 2 and 3, I'm going to move backstage. So I'm going to move to the backstage area, and then I'm going to skip over Lola, and I'm going to move. Let's go to this one down here. And we have the prop shop. Okay, this is a new one. This is from the Return to Curtain Call. 7 shroud location with 2 clues. Victory location. While you are investigating prop shop, it gets -1 shroud for each horror on you. All right, well, that's not going to be happening right up front. After you fail a skill test while investigating the prop shop, take 1 horror, okay? Okay, well, we're not anywhere close to being able to investigate that. I guess I could take a whole bunch of Sophies in a row to get a clue off of there, but that seems like a bad idea. Let's go ahead and put 2 clues out there. I think we'll have probably, so this is telling me that It's looking like we're going to definitely need to head to the lobby and some of the lobby locations, because it's very unlikely that we're going to be able to see 6 gettable clues here in the backstage area. Yeah, I don't think so. So there's only 1 per investigator there? Yeah, okay. So let's go ahead with Lola. Oh, I didn't pick a starting class for her. That was silly. Let's go ahead. I'll take, my thought here is I'd like to get a little cash. I'll take Seeker. I'll start in Seeker, and then I will go ahead and spend 4 to put a fingerprint kit down. It's going to get 3 supplies. And I think I'm going to plan on at least heading over to the lobby and the balcony to get that. So I don't want to stray too far from Mark. I also want to try... So Mark is in big trouble if he gets a poltergeist, because he doesn't have any way to deal with that other than using Sophie to evade it, and they have a evade of 4. So that's not good. And honestly, right now, Lola doesn't have a way to deal with the poltergeist either, but Lola's the one with the enchanted blades in her deck. So let's go ahead and take my second action. I'm going to want to use the prepared for the worst to go try to grab that enchanted blade in case I see a poltergeist. And I don't want to go too far from Mark. So I'm going to go ahead and move just over to the theater for my second action. And then, well, no, I'll investigate there for my second action. So let's go ahead and switch to Survivor. That'll be my swap for the turn. And I'm going to investigate here with a Take Heart. So I'm at 3 to 3. No bonuses. Let's just see if I get it, I get a clue. If I fail it, I get Take Heart. So 3 to 3. And the Chaos Bag dishes me up. -1. Okay, so that's not good enough to grab that clue. So I'll take the Take Heart. And I will draw 2 cards and gain 2 resources. So 2 cards. I get an active desperation and another unexpected courage. All right. And then a 2 resources, which I got. So that's my second action. And since I got that unexpected courage, let's go ahead and use it. Let's go ahead and try to grab this clue with that. So this is going to be 5 to 3. At this point with the bag as it is, +2 should be a pretty good chance. Only a couple tokens in there. A skull is -1 right now. So that's good enough to grab this clue. Okay, and that is an unexpected courage used. All right, so that's pretty decent first turn, I suppose. Not nuts about that prop shop. It'll be easy to get later for a VP, but later we're usually busy. So we'll see what we can do. Ah, interesting. So if I can leave the other locations empty at the end of the round for the Mythos phase, I can entice, if we get one of those cultists that shows up where the most clues are, he steals a clue off the location and then you kill him. Oh, yeah, that's good for Mark. So let's see if I can try to avoid loading up locations with clues more than the prop shop. So we'll untap. Mark's going to draw a let me handle this, which could be very good. And I'll take a resource. And then Lola's going to reset. And she's going to draw a Holy Rosary. Okay. So that Sanity Soak will certainly be nice, as will the Willpower Boost. I'll probably go ahead and get that into play here pretty shortly. Yeah. And then I'll take a resource, putting me at 4. And we're on to our very first Mythos phase. Mark is my lead investigator, and he's going to draw... How about that? We were just talking about this guy. The Fanatic. Okay, so he spawns at the revealed location with the most clues. That's going to be the prop shop. And he's going to steal a clue off of the prop shop. And then you get the clue if you kill him. So Mark would like to say, sounds good to me. And then Lola is going to draw her encounter card, which is, Aspires of Carcosa. Tough. Okay, so this is attached to the backstage location. Yeah, this card's tough. Then place 2 doom at that location. And if you can successfully investigate it, you're going to remove a doom there. So that can really speed up the clock here on us. Especially because that's not an easy investigate right now at 3-3 for Lola. So if every doom that I can get off of that buys me another turn. I could also use Sophie to get me some clues there. Yeah, I'm gonna let Mark deal with that. So let's go first with Mark. I've got 3 resources, so let's go ahead and slap down a 32 Colt into a hand slot. That's gonna take my last 3 resources, and that's going to get 6 ammo on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'll take an attack of opportunity for having done that, and I'll just go ahead and put that on True Grit and draw a card off of my special ability. An emergency cash. Perfect, because I'm out of money. That's just great. Okay, and then action number 2, I will go ahead and shoot the Fanatic at 5-3 using a bullet from the 32. I will not add anything to that. 5-3 puts me at a skull, which is -1. So the Fanatic is dead, and I get that clue. Man, that's great. Let's get another one of those. I'm wishing I'd kept an On the Hunt. Note to self, when playing Mark Harrigan, keep on the hunt if you have a gun. So that takes one of my ammo. And then there's no reason to stick around here. I'm not gonna grab that clue unless that dude shows back up. So I'll just spend my 3rd action to move back up into the backstage area. Yep, sounds fine to me. And then Lola, I'd like to go ahead and start getting some clues. So let's just truck it on out of here. I'm gonna move. I don't want to go too far from Mark though. Let's swap. I'm not gonna want to do anything in Survivor this turn. I need to use this fingerprint kit. So I'm gonna go ahead and just move to the theater. I'm gonna move again to the lobby. The lobby is a 4-shroud location with 1 clue. When it is revealed, put 2 of the set-aside lobby doorway locations into play. All right, lobby doorways. Let's see. There are 4 of those now. There used to be only 3, but we have 4 now. I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle up these, and I'll roll a die to see which one we put into play. All right. We have 4 locations, so I'm gonna roll an 8-sided die I happen to have sitting here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, broken down by 2s. And that's an 8, so it's the 4th one of the locations. That one there. And then I'll roll a 6-sider for the other one, which is a 2, which is this one here. All right. All right, so there's our 2 lobby doorways. Let's go ahead and connect those to the lobby. It's Lola's 2nd action. I'm not liking the getting the clue off the lobby. Not really set up for that right now. I do like getting that maybe with an art student later or something. We'll see. I'll go ahead and move up into the balcony for my 3rd action. And the balcony is a 2-shroud, 2-clue location, perfect for fingerprint kit. After you perform a move action from the balcony, you can jump down into the theater. So it's a 1-way trip down into the theater. So I love the flavor on this location. I think the balcony's flavor is a super great win for theme. When I'm not sitting here in front of the camera running the I've Got a Plan podcast, many of you who follow me might know that I'm an actor. I work professionally as an actor, stage actor, and every time I'm playing in a big theater with multiple balconies, I'm always, you're always tempted to try to swing off of one of them down to the other one, or jump down into the theater and do one of those big trampoline mats or something. It's always fun to think about that, and so it's cool. This whole scenario really appeals to me as an actor, so I like that. But as it is, we are now in the balcony, and I am sitting at 3 actions completed. I'll stay in Survivor is fine, and we're done. So enemy phase, nothing happens. Let's go ahead and upkeep. Mark draws a steadfast. Okay, that's real nice right now for a bonus. Steadfast gives you, if you have 10 or more remaining health and sanity, which right now I certainly do, I'm going to get, it can be 3 willpower or 3 combat icons. Real nice. And then I'll take a resource, puts me at 1. And then Lola will reset, and she draws Live and Learn. Okay. Now that might be okay to get the clue off the lobby. So I'll keep that and take a resource, putting me at 5. I'd like to see one of my allies here shortly if I can. And we're going on to the Mythos phase. Doom 2, or really 4 of 6 because of the 2 on Mark's location, which I'm going to try to grab this turn. And we'll see what we get. So Mark's Mythos phase. Encounter card is... oh, this is new. Voice of True Nembra. Oh, that's neat. It almost looks like the... it almost looks like a cutaway of a human skull with the nasal bones and the pituitary gland there. That's kind of neat. And then... yeah, it looks like some sort of a monster's head inside of that. Peril. Revelation, test willpower 3. Okay. For each point you fail by, you must choose a different option. Lose 2 resources, take a horror, or get -2 to the next skill test you perform. Oh, okay. Yikes. I will steadfast that. I just drew it. It seems like a good thing to steadfast. So I'm going to be at 6-3 on this test. No reason to get killed here. Okay, I got a skull, so that's a pass on that. So Voice of True Nembra. Ugh, yikes. Cool card, though. I love the art on that. And then Lola's card is going to be Black Stars Rise. Okay. This is a Intellect 4. Test Intellect 4. If you fail, you must either place a Doom on the current agenda or take a horror for each point you failed by. Well, that's gross. I am going to go ahead and... I really want to save my unexpected courage with Lola. I'm going to take a Let Me Handle This. I'm going to play that with Mark. So Mark's going to play Let Me Handle This. Boy, I really want to use that for taking a monster off of Lola, though. What are my options here with Lola? I'm going to be at 3. I could commit. I've got to Live and Learn, and I'm in Survivor. Okay, I'll do it. I'll keep it with Lola, and I'll test it at 3 to 4. I'll test it at 3 to 4. And I get out of the bag a -1. Okay, so that'd be 2. So I would either place 2 Doom on the current agenda or take 2 horror. Not nuts about taking the 2 horror. Let's go ahead and play Live and Learn. So I failed that, so I will attempt that test again with a +2 skill value. So now I'm testing this at 5 to 4. And let's see what we get out of the bag this time. Ah, good, a skull. All right, so that's a -1, and I passed that. All right. That is a good use of Live and Learn. I'm happy to see that. Always good to stay in Survivor at the end of the round since I don't have any Survivor permanents, so I can only get hit with other class permanents, and then I can use my tricks to be able to get through the Mythos phase. So, relatively harmless Mythos phase there. Cost me a little bit. Let me put Mark back down here. Let's go first with Lola. And I'm going to have to swap into Seeker for this one. Yeah, so I'm going to swap into... Do I want to play something first? No. I'm going to swap into Seeker. And I'm going to investigate for my first action. That is used. And that's going to be 4 to 2 in the balcony. I will not commit anything. Hope for the best. Got a 0. Very nice. Okay, so that's successful. The fingerprint kit is used. And I get the 2 clues up in the balcony. All right, now we are sitting at 4 clues as a team right now. I'm done up in the balcony. My second action will be to move back down into the lobby. And I have already changed classes this round. So I'm going to draw. I'm just going to draw a card. I'm risking my fingerprint kit by doing that. But Lola needs to get through her deck. There's no doubt about that. I could also check out one of these lobby doorways for my third action. Yeah, I'm not going to draw that. I think I need to keep my tempo going here. Let's go ahead and move into one of these lobby doorways. Is there anything that can hurt you when you move in last action? I'm trying to remember if there are any of the lobby doorways that have an effect that hurts you when you move in third action. I don't think so. Of course, I don't know what the new one is. But there's nothing else I can play right now. I could unexpected courage this clue here. But that's only a 5 to 4. I'm going to go ahead and move in. I'm going to move into this southern lobby doorway here. Let's see what it is. The green room. Oh, okay. This is a 5 shroud location with 2 clues. You can do an investigate test and get +3 for this investigation. After the skill test ends, discard each card in your hand. Okay, but it's also a 5 shroud with 2 clues, which very well might be gettable with the unexpected courage. So, and it is a VP location, so that would be kind of cool too. Yeah, okay. That's what it is. So Mark is going to, let's go ahead and try to grab some, get rid of some of this doom. So I'm going to investigate here, and I'm going to investigate using Sophie. I will take a damage. I'll put it on True Grit and draw a card off of my ability, which is a shortcut. Okay, not sad to see that. And I'm investigating this at 4 to 2. Oh, sorry, 4 to 3. Still pretty good odds in the bag at 4 to 3. Yeah, good. -1. All right, that removes a doom from that location. And then for my second action, I will do the same thing. Is that true? See, that puts us at 3 out of 6. No, for my second action, I'm going to play Emergency Cash. And then for my third action, I'm going to play my Venturer. So let's get him in play here. Not much room. I'll put him right over here. It's fine. Okay, he comes into play with 3 supplies. Lets me refill ammos or assets. The plan here with this guy is to take a little bit of soak with him, and then also to start refilling my smoking pipe once I start using that. And that takes all my resources, so that takes me down to 0. But Venturer is pretty good. I'm going to need those supplies. And that's it for Mark. So that's it for the investigation phase. And there are no enemies, so let's go ahead and reset. Mark draws the home front. Right? This is his special. If this skill test is successful during an attack, move a damage from Mark Harrigan to the attacked enemy. So this is actually a really good card to hold on to for attacking the Man in the Pallid Mask, because that lets me get a third damage in one shot. And a really good chance at a shot also. So I'm going to hold that in my hand. And I'll take a resource. And then Lola will untap the fingerprint kit. Hope for the best on this draw. And we get another fingerprint kit. Okay. Doubt I'll need to play both of those. I could use an act of desperation. I have an act of desperation in hand, and you can throw stuff from your hand if you want to. So that's okay. You don't get the money back. And I'll take a resource. All right. Moving on to the next turn. Act or agenda 1A gets another Doom in the Mythos phase, and that's 4 out of 6, including the one that's still on Spires of Carcosa. And we draw. Mark Mythos card, or encounter card is Visions in Your Mind, Horrors. Secretly add this card to your hand. I haven't seen this one yet. So, by the way, hidden and secrecy is not going to be very effective during a video podcast with a solo player. So we're just reading all this stuff. When your turn ends, if you did not perform at least one play action during your turn, discard this card from your hand and take a direct damage and horror. Direct damage and horror. Take a play action. Well, that's not too bad for Mark right now, although that doesn't go away until you don't do it. Okay. And then Lola's card. Spirit's Torment. Okay. Attached to your location. After you leave attached location, you must either take a horror or lose one action. Okay. This is not terrible in this location. So this is bad for a high traffic location, but once I leave here, I leave here. So this is all right. I'll attach that to the green room. Okay. So I'm really feeling like Lola kind of needs to go for it for these 2 clues, because I can get those 2 clues and then get the Man in the Pallid Mask out here. Let's go first with Lola, because that's going to determine whether I want Mark to be trying to get rid of that Spires again. Probably, but let's go first with Lola. So Lola's going to use the fingerprint kit. I'm going to commit the other fingerprint kit and the unexpected courage to get +3 to this check. So I'm going to be testing this at 7 to 5 in the green room. So I'm not using the investigate printed on the green room. I'm just doing a standard investigate at 7 to 5. Oh, this is a big one. I want this one. Yes, -1. All right, cool. So I get the 2 clues off the green room, which is going to put me at 5 clues. It's very good. It's very good. I have nothing else I want to do here. I will go ahead and move back into the lobby, and I'm just going to suck up the action on that. So I'm going to take the Spirit's Torment. I will lose an action. I do not want to take a horror. I've only got 6 sanity. So I will head into the lobby at the loss of an action. I will go ahead and swap into Survivor at the end of the turn. No, I'm going to swap into Guardian. No, Mystic. Swap into no Guardian is what I want, because I want to play Prepare for the Worst next round, if I can. So now I'm going to go ahead and advance. I'm going to spend my 6 clues here. Okay, but 6 is enough to advance from Act 1A to Act 1B. His final bow. A shadow creeps along the wall beside you, and your heart leaps into your throat. You turn, and a figure flits away just out of sight. Either your mind is playing tricks on you, or someone else is in the theater. You follow the direction of the shadow, rounding a nearby corner. At the far end of the hall, he stands awaiting you. A man in an elegant black suit, his face covered by a pale mask. Though his attire has changed, you instantly recognize him as the actor who played the role of the stranger, one of the characters from The King in Yellow. He turns and disappears through an open doorway as if taunting you to follow. Choose one of the set-aside locations at random. Okay, so we have 4 set-aside locations now, 2 lobby doorways and 2 backstage doorways. It used to be only 2, but it's 4 now. And we're going to shuffle these up and choose one at random. I'll let the die do the work for me. 8-sider, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be, it's a lobby doorway. Okay. So let's see where I want to put that. We're getting a little crowded over here. I'm going to move Sophie over. I'm going to move all these over. Let's put the lobby doorway right there. Probably want to head back this way with Mark. And the man in the pallid mask is spawned there at the lobby doorway. Okay. Advance to one of the 3, now 6 copies of Act 2A at random. Remove the other 5 from the game without looking at them. So the Return to Curtain Call added 3 more Act 2As, very interestingly. So who knows what's on the back of those. It used to be like fires, floods, and acidic smoke, I think, were the 3 things that could happen in the theater. But now, who knows? Let's go ahead and just grab a random one here. There's 6 of them. Let's roll a die. Number 3. All right, this one here. The other 5 are removed from the game. Nice replayability there. God, the back of that card is so bad. The back of those are so... Act 2B is horrible. So you need to be ready to go when you get rid of the man in the pallid mask. Do not rush that. But also, don't dawdle. All right, Act 2A. The mysterious stranger from The King in Yellow might know something about what happened during the intermission. You must find and confront him if you are to discover the truth. Objective: when the man in the pallid mask would be discarded from play, advance. Okay. Well, I've got a way to kill him with Mark. No problem. Yeah, no problem at all. I've got a way to kill him. But I need to be ready, because when I kill him, all hell breaks loose. But we did that really quickly, actually. We got those 6 clues really quickly. There's still, if we can get rid of the spires. This is all very interesting. Okay, well, it doesn't, let's see. What was, how did that happen? That was the end of Lola's turn when we turned in the clues. Yeah. So that's Lola's turn, and now we're going to go to Mark's turn. Okay, I've got 3 actions. I need to play a card this turn, or I'm going to have to deal with that visions in your mind. You have to take a play action. So using the shortcut as a fast action is not taking a play action. So that's a small distinction, but it is a distinction. And LIS. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and... Yeah, I'm going to try to get this spires taken care of. I'm going to go ahead and action 1, I'm going to investigate this. I'm going to take a damage on myself to go 4 to 3 on this test. So I will draw a card. Another shortcut. Okay. So I can zip across the board right quickly. That's nice. And it's 4 to 3 on this test. I don't have anything to commit to this. I'm thinking since I have the emergency aid, I'm gonna go ahead and do another Sophie. Yeah, I'll do another Sophie. So I'm gonna go 6 to 3 on this test. Take another damage. I don't draw another card. You can only do that once per phase. But I'm going 6 to 3 on this test. And I get a +1 and wasted damage. All right, and that gets rid of that doom. So we're back down to 3 out of 6. No need to invite the emissary any faster than we need to. And that gets rid of the Spires of Carcosa. Okay. I forget to lay these guys down so you guys can see who's where. Lola's in the lobby and Mark is backstage. Okay. So that's that. I've got the firepower to deal with the man in the pallid mask. Man, I'd like to take a play action this turn. Yeah, because it doesn't hurt to do that. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spend an action to take a resource. And then I will spend an action to play emergency aid. So that takes care of the visions in my head, and emergency aid will just heal the 2 damage on me. Spinning my wheels just a little bit, but I've got the 2 shortcuts. And I just hold on to that until a turn where I don't play a card, which is, you know, quite frankly, could be any turn, because those 3 actions are precious. And the shortcuts are not play actions. Okay, that's the end of that. No enemies right now that do anything. Man in the Pallid Mask does not hunt. So I untap with Mark, and we're gonna draw him another Steadfast. Okay, nice. And I will take a resource, putting me at 1 resource. Lola will reset, and she will draw a magnifying glass. Okay, that's terrific. It's really terrific, actually, because now I can get in and out. I'm out of Seeker, so the next time I'm in Seeker for a fingerprint kit, I can smack that down, but I need to get out of Seeker. So, yeah, okay, I'll take a resource. So since I haven't played anything in a while, I'm sitting at 7 resources. Might be useful later. And that is the end of this turn. All right, Mythos phase. Turn number 5, I've got Doom 4 out of 6. And our encounter cards, our Mark's card is, now this is new, Painful Reflection. Put Painful Reflection into play in your threat area. When you play an event, reveal a random token from the Chaos bag. If it is a scary token, cancel the event, take a horror, and discard this. Wow, okay, wow, cancel the event. Okay, what are the chances of a scary token? 3 skulls and an elder thing, or and a tentacle right now. Worse when we hit Act 3. Still 25% chance of having your events fail, which would include things like shortcut. Yuck. Yeah, definitely yuck. But it's not like I have a cancellation, so we're keeping that. And then Lola's encounter card is Twisted to His Will. If there is no Doom in play, Twisted to His Will gains Surge. Otherwise, test Willpower X, where X is the amount of Doom in play. The Doom in play is 4 right now. If you fail, discard 2 cards from your hand at random. That's not too bad. Okay, well, let's see. This is a Willpower 4 test. I am at Willpower 3 right now. I could commit the Holy Rosary, but no thanks. I'll just try to get lucky here. 3 to 4. Oh my gosh. A +1. Shut the front door. Pass that thing. Whoa, that's great. I feel like I should go burn some incense or something on that amount of luck. Okay, so given that, I really think I should go ahead and start pushing the Man in the Pallid Mask here a little bit. Man, I want that VP from the prop shop, but let's not get greedy. This is a hard scenario, and if you can get out of it, get out of it. Okay, so Mark is going to shortcut over to the theater. Okay, so that is an event. I reveal a random token from the chaos bag and see what happens. And that random token is a -4, okay? That does not cancel the shortcut, so we're good there. Let's see, I would move, engage. Okay, not quite enough. I'm gonna play the other shortcut and slide into the lobby. All right. See if I get that canceled on me. I do. A skull. Okay. I cancel that event, so I don't move. I take a horror, which I can put on the Venturer. It's a regular old horror. And discard Painful Reflection. Okay, well, that only hits me once. Terrible, but not the worst thing ever. Okay, so then I think what I'm going to do then is I've still got all 3 actions. I don't need that clue on the lobby right now. I'm going to move into the lobby with Lola for my first action. I'm going to move into the lobby doorway for my second action. Let's see what this is. Oh, this is new. The Theater Lounge. After you reveal the Theater Lounge, shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Wow. Okay. Search the encounter deck for the 2 topmost hidden cards and secretly add both of those cards to your hand. Shuffle the encounter deck. Holy moly. That's going to put a lot of pressure on me for health, I'm sure. Okay, so it's a 2-shroud location with 2 clues, which is great for Lola right now, as far as collecting a VP. Oh, and it also means the Man in the Pallid Mask is achievable with a investigative 4. Oh, that's interesting. I wouldn't necessarily even need to kill him. Because a Shroud 4 Investigate is tough, but it's not that tough. All right, let's see what I get. So shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. All right. Still have 1 action remaining. All right, and then I'm searching the top card, search the encounter deck for the 2 topmost hidden cards. Okay, so let's go ahead and... All right, my first one is Visions in Your Mind Failure. Secretly add this card to your hand. When your turn ends, if you did not perform at least a resource action during your turn. Okay. Discard from your hand and take a direct damage in a horror. Okay. And then the next one is... Try not to read the ones that I don't know. Oh, it's taking a while. Oh, Visions in Your Mind Death. When your turn ends, if you did not perform at least 1 move action during your turn, discard this card. Okay, so I actually have satisfied this one. So I've got Death, Failure, and Horrors in my hand. Okay, and then do I shuffle? I'm just searching, yeah, so I just reshuffle this. Okay, so there's the encounter deck back. All right, Mark has 1 action remaining. I would like, if I'm going to kill the Man in the Pallid Mask rather than investigate this, I'm going to need damage on myself for the home front. Looks like I'm going to have that, though, at the end of the round. So I think what I'm going to try to do, let's see, I've already moved. So if I play a card or if I take a resource, either way, I'm satisfying 2 of the 3 hidden cards in my hand. Or I could confront the Man in the Pallid Mask at 4. I think killing him is still a better, statistically, an option for me here. So I'm going to spend my 3rd action to take a resource. Yeah. Okay. So then when my turn ends, I did move, so that takes care of death. I did take a resource, so that takes care of failure, but I did not play a card. So I have to take a direct damage and a direct horror. So I take the direct damage, which is going to draw me a card. And I draw, oh, the Hallowed Mirror. That's going to get played. All right, Hallowed Mirror. I haven't had a chance to play with this too much, and I think this card is super bananas cool. I'm really looking forward to the Dream Eaters. I think the bonded stuff is going to be really fun. And then I also need to take a direct horror. Okay. That's Mark's turn. So now Lola's turn. Well, this location's looking pretty juicy for that last fingerprint kit. And then I could, honestly, I could toss it at the guy. But I'm in the wrong thing. The wrong class. All right. Because I was going to go get a weapon. Still might. Get a weapon, move in, investigate. Is that the play? Yeah, let's do that. All right, so I will spend an action to play Prepared for the Worst. Search the top 9 cards of my deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm looking for an enchanted blade, hopefully. Ah, there it is. Okay, good. Got an enchanted blade. And add that to my hand. And then shuffle up my deck. While I'm in Guardian, I might as well play it. Ah, shuffling cards without sleeves just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I really don't think I've ever played this game without sleeves. But anything for my loyal audience. Okay, and then action number 2, I'll go ahead and play the Enchanted Blade. So that takes up my second hand slot and gets me 3 charges. And that takes care of my things I wanted to do in Guardian. And then I will go ahead and move into the theater lounge with Mark. And I will switch into Survivor. No, I'm going to switch into Seeker. If I lose the fingerprint kit, I lose the fingerprint kit. But let's think positively. I'm going to switch into Seeker and hopefully to just get that investigate right off the bat next round. And we are done with the investigation phase. Enemy phase, right now there's nothing. And then we're going to reset. So Mark gets his cards back, or gets his actions back, and we draw another 32 Colt. Let's see, I'm at 8 cards in hand. And then I'm going to get Lola's cards back. I draw An emergency cash. All right, I've got 2 of those in hand now. Definitely not having any money problems. Oh, I never paid for that enchanted blade. Let's do that. Let's not cheat. 3 resources for the enchanted blade. Okay. And I take a resource as well at the end of the round. As does Mark, which I forgot to do. Okay, heading into the Mythos phase. Witching Hour, Doom 5 of 6 on Agenda 1A. And our encounter cards are Mark draws a swarm of rats. Okay, not too worried about that. And Lola draws a poltergeist. Well, what a good thing I played that enchanted blade last round, huh? I almost feel like I'm smart or something. So the poltergeist is going to be engaged with Lola. Okay. Oh, that would have been a very difficult situation without that enchanted blade. So terrific, terrific, good stuff. Okay, so now into the investigation phase. I'm in pretty good shape here to do what I wanted to do. So let's do it. Lola's going to go first. I'd have to take if I did. I'm in Seeker. If I switch, I won't be able to investigate here with the fingerprint kit. If I investigate with the fingerprint kit, I will take an attack of opportunity and end up taking 2 horror. That's risky for sure. I do have the rosary. I do have the hallowed mirror in play now. Columbus took a chance. Let's do it. I will go ahead and to spend my first action to investigate this location with my last fingerprint charge. Fingerprint kit charge. And that's going to put me at 4-2 on the investigate. I will take an attack of opportunity of 2 horror. Ouch. And I'm going to let that roll at 4-2. Chaos Bag's friendly at 4-2 right now. I don't have 3 horror, so. All right, 4-2 gets us a -1. Yeah, cool. So I grabbed those 2 clues out from underneath the poltergeist. Okay, then I'm going to take my free swap into Mystic. Yeah, I'll switch into Mystic. And I will attack the poltergeist with an enchanted blade using one of the charges. So this is an attack of 5-3. And let's see, this is I'm attacking with fight here. Do I want to commit with Mark happens to be here? Yeah, I'll commit my 32 Colt that I have extra to this test. So 5-3 is 6-3. And the Chaos Bag says -2, so dead poltergeist. That thing can be damaged by relics, which the enchanted blade is. So, all right. The enchanted blade has been released since the original Path to Carcosa, so that was not even an option as a weapon at this point in the game's life cycle back when this was first out. So hand-to-hand melee sort of weapon users were looking at stuff like the Spirit Athame to kill it, or you were stuck with spells, shriveling and the like. So having the enchanted blade as an option is pretty sweet. Okay, and then Lola's third action, I am in Mystic. Do I put down the... So here's my choices. I'm thinking about either putting down the rosary, which risks losing both the blade and the rosary, or I'm thinking about engaging the man in the pallid mask so that Mark can just kill him without needing to spend an engagement. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna engage the man in the pallid mask. and trust that Mark won't miss. So, engaging the Pallid Mask, Man in the Pallid Mask, for my third action. That's it for Lola. Mark, okay. Action number 1, let's go ahead and hit the Man in the Pallid Mask in the face with a shot from the .32 Colt. All right, if this misses, it hits Lola, so let's not miss. I am at 5 to 4. I will commit the home front to go 9 to 4. And out of the bag comes a -3. Okay, cool. So 9 to 4 minus 3 is 6 to 4, which is successful. So that will deal, the bullet deals 2 damage to the Man in the Pallid Mask. And then the home front reads, if this skill test is successful during an attack, move a damage from Mark Harrigan to the attacked enemy. So the Man in the Pallid Mask then takes his 3rd hit and he is defeated. And that was action number 1. So, defeating the Man in the Pallid Mask triggers the ability of Act 2A to advance. All right, kids, it's about to get real. Here we go. Oh. Wow, interesting. Okay, so this is a new one. Alarin Mists. As you face off with the stranger, you get the sense that he is grinning beneath his pale, faceless mask. Where is everyone? You ask, but he does not respond. What's going on? He remains silent and steps back as you approach until his back is against the corner of the room. Suddenly, his body dissolves into a vortex of silvery mist, which slams into your body and knocks you to the floor before whirling past you and spreading into the air. Instead of discarding the Man in the Pallid Mask, move him to the lobby. Okay, so he moves 1 location away here to the lobby. Let me clear a little space here. All right. Add a cultist and a tablet token to the chaos bag. So in the original Path to Carcosa, these were all double. So you could either add 2 tablets or 2 cultists or 2 elder things. Looks like the new ones are split between 2 different tokens. Okay. Now in this scenario, they all do the same thing, and they're terrible. -4, and you take a bunch of horror and horrible. But they're in the bag now. Okay. Place a horror on the back stage. Okay. Until the end of the scenario, each horror on locations represents the creeping mist, and each location with horror gains forced when you would move from this location. Test willpower 3. If you fail, you must either cancel the effects of the move or lose all remaining actions and end your turn after completing the effects of the move. Ooh, okay. Well, that's bad, but I'm at least in the right side of the theater for it. Okay, and then we go on to Act 3A, Curtain Call. The stranger must know the way out. You have to follow him. While the Man in the Pallid Mask is not in play, the lobby gains action Resign. At the end of the round, place a horror on each location with no horror that is connected to a location with horror. So the mist is going to spread. Maybe I can beat this mist to the end of the scenario. Oh, that would be an amazing thing, wouldn't it? All right, I've got a couple visions here. So I either need to move or I need to what was the other thing? I need to take a resource. I won't be doing that, so I'll take a direct damage and horror from that. I'll hit the rats. No sense in leaving them around. Although they could draw me some cards. Let me think about that. Do I want to drag the rats around? Actually, I do, because I could move. Use that to get a card. Yeah, I like that play. Let's do that. I'm going to move up into the lobby and take an attack of opportunity from the rats which I will put on the Venturer. And draw a card off of that, which is a survival knife. Okay, that's pretty good. And then for my third action, I will go ahead and punch the rats at 5-1. Chaos Bag says a tablet, which is -4, which is enough to kill the rats. Okay, so they're dead. If your location has at least one horror on it, take a horror. It does not. If it has no horror, place a horror on it instead. Oh boy, okay, so the mist just made it up here to the... It skipped over the theater and appeared here in the lobby. Yikes, so that was a bad pull. All right, and when you would move from this location. Okay, well, hopefully we won't be moving from this location for very often. It's gonna get Lola, though. Okay, that's the end of my turn. The rats were killed, and I am looking at my visions in my hand. I did move, so that's taken care of. I did not take a resource action, so I'm gonna go ahead and discard that and take a direct damage and a direct horror. So let's see, direct damage, direct horror. And this is still, when is this happening? This is at the end of when my turn ends. So I have already taken that card draw during this phase, so. Okay. Enemy phase, right now we have nothing. I am suspecting that is not gonna be, well, I know that's not gonna be the case for long. And, let's see, did Lola do her thing? Yeah, she investigated, killed the poltergeist, yeah. And then we're gonna reset. So Mark is gonna untap, he's gonna draw a card, an emergency cash, okay. And then I'm gonna take a resource, putting me at 4. Okay, and then Lola is going to reset. Draw and hope for the best. Oh, an improvisation, okay. Free roll switch reduces the cost of something by up to 3. Draw a card, can't beat it, okay. Take a resource. Or it can be committed for just two wild icons, and I very well might do that. Because we can get out of here. Yeah, we could potentially get out of here. It's just gonna be a matter of whether I want to get greedy and kill the Royal Emissary also. I mean, the answer is yes, of course I want to get greedy and kill the Royal Emissary. And I've got some Sophie left to do it. So that's good. All right, so on we go to the... I did that. We're on to the next round. So, Mythos phase. Okay, so Doom, 6 of 6, and we are advancing, so... All that free time up at the beginning is done. Now the business begins. Agenda 1B. Abruptly, the malformed body of an unnatural nightmare slams onto the stage, its slithering tendrils reaching into the aisles. It opens its maw and lets out a shrill, piercing song. The melody is uncanny. The notes sear into your mind. Pain pounds in your forehead and blood runs from your ears. Search all set-aside cards in the victory display for the Royal Emissary and spawn it in the theater. Okay, so here's the Royal Emissary showing up in the theater. Now, in the return to, we have the Royal Emissary with an attachment, which is actually the Return to Curtain Call scenario card. And what it does essentially is it says that when the Royal Emissary is defeated and sent to the victory display, you put a resource on it, and then it gains plus N health, where N is the number of investigators, the next time it comes out. So it has 4 health this time. After I've beaten it once, the next time it comes back, it'll have 6 health, 8, so on and so forth. Hopefully it won't last that long. But it is in play. I'm not going to put the attachment on it right now since it's just as printed right now. The Royal Emissary reads, 4 fight, 2 evade, 4 health, prey, lowest willpower. Massive Hunter Retaliate. At the end of the enemy phase, each investigator at its location or at a connecting location takes a horror. So we got to get rid of him and get rid of him quick, which honestly is what we need to do anyway. So at the end of the round, I forgot to spread the mist. So I'm going to use dice for that just because I'm going to run out of horror tokens. So the mist spreads to every backstage location, and the mist spreads into the theater. And actually the mist spreads everywhere. It goes, every single location is connected to something with mist. So that takes care of that. At least I don't have to worry about marking that anymore. Put one up in here. Okay. And then our encore says, Agenda 2A. The creature's song echoes relentlessly throughout the halls of the theater. The melody repeats again and again, yet somehow never the same note twice. Forced, after the royal emissary is added to the victory display, remove all doom from play and reset the agenda deck to Agenda 1A, then place 3 doom on that agenda. So you can buy yourself some time by killing the royal emissary. But this scenario does not give you much time, so I'm going to have to be thoughtful about this. For sure. But let's draw a couple encounter cards, because that's the next thing that happens. Mark's encounter card is... yes, that Voice of Trunembra. All right. Test willpower 3 for each point you fail by. You have to choose to lose resources, take horror, or have your skill tests hit up. I will go ahead and use Steadfast for this one again. So, do I still have 10 health left? I've got 8 and 3 is 11. Yes, I do. So this is a +3 to this test. So I am at 6 to 3 on this test. I will not commit anything. And I draw a skull. Let's see. I am at still -1, aren't I? Yeah, because I only have 2 horror on me. Excellent. So the skull means I pass that. Thank you, Steadfast, again. Coming in handy twice. And then Lola's encounter card is... a Spires of Carcosa. Okay, that's going to get attached to the theater lounge. And put a couple doom on the theater lounge. Well, that's normally going to be a problem because that accelerates the speed of everything. I think we're going to try to get out before that becomes an issue. So I think I'm probably going to let that ride. Because if my plan here doesn't work, I'm probably dead anyway. Yeah, I'm going to let that ride with Lola. Okay, investigation phase. Lola is in Mystic. What I would like to see is I would like to see her go up and deal with the man in the pallid mask. As best as I can, of course. So let's do that. Lola will spend her first action to move back into the lobby. I will spend my second action to engage the man in the pallid mask. And I will spend my third action to hit him with an enchanted blade. So this is going to be 5. I'm using a charge, so this is going to be 5 to 4. And I will commit the improvisation. You know what? I'm going to do this slightly differently. Move in, engage him. I am not going to use an enchanted blade charge, actually. Save those. Do something a little bit more predictable. I will swap my roll over to Survivor, And then I'm going to play Act of Desperation. As an additional cost to play the Act of Desperation, choose and discard an item asset that takes up at least one hand slot. And I'm going to get rid of the fingerprint kit. I'm going to whap the man in the pallid mask over the head with a fingerprint kit. So I get a +4 fight, and I deal an extra damage. So this is going to be 7 to 4, and I'll get 4 resources on this if I succeed. So 7 to 4, and let me think about this. This is an attack. Mark will commit a let me handle this, so I can make it 8 to 4, because those -4s in the bag are there. So 8 to 4 to smack the man in the pallid mask over the head with a box. And the deck gives me a -2. Bag gives me a -2, so that is successful. Let me handle this as discarded. And the Act of Desperation. The fingerprint kit is discarded. I deal 2 damage to the man with the pallid mask, or man in the pallid mask. Let's go ahead and do that. 2 damage to him, and I gain 4 resources. So 2, 3, 4. All right, that puts Lola at 5, 6, 9 resources. It's really quite remarkable, with 2 emergency caches in hand and not much else to spend them on. And I'm out of actions with Lola. Okay, Mark. I think I want to finish off the man in the pallid mask, play the survival knife to try to take out the royal emissary. Oh, shoot. Man, I blew that. I got to go back to Lola's turn here, and I need to test heading into the lobby on my first action. I don't get to just move there for free. Y'all are probably screaming at me while watching the video. So I need to test willpower 3, and if I fail, cancel the effects of the move. Now, when I moved, I was in Mystic, so I can commit the Holy Rosary, which I will, to go to 4, and I'll commit the improvisation as well. So, because I would not want this canceled. So 6 to 3. And if this fails, we'll figure out what to do. It did not. I got a 0. Okay, so all those cards are discarded. Lola's hand right now, by the way, is a magnifying glass and 2 emergency caches. So that takes care of that. Okay, because that triggers only when you would move. Oh, it moved from a location, but I moved from the theater lounge, which had mist in it. Okay. So we're good. Mark, action number 1. Let's finish off the man in the pallid mask, or attempt to at least. And I will shoot him with a 32 Colt charge. And that's going to put me at, well, actually, I only need to do 1 damage, so I don't need a bullet for that. So I'll just punch him at 5 to 4, and I will take a damage to Sophie this one to go 7 to 4. I draw a card on the damage. A dynamite blast. Whoa, what do I have resources-wise? Wow. That is interesting. Wow. Okay. So let's see. Let's finish this attack. I'm at 5, 6, 7 to 4 on the man with the pallid mask. And you know, since I got that dynamite blast, I'm taking another damage. I'm going to do Sophie twice. I'm going to go 9 to 4 on the punch. So that I'm going to put that damage on True Grit. I don't get a card off of that. True Grit is discarded. And I'm going to go ahead and attack at 9 to 4. And I pull a skull out of the bag. I am still at -1 on that, so that is successful. The man in the pallid mask has been defeated on Mark's first action. So he just goes away. Just set him off to the side here. And let's see, we've got 2 actions remaining. The lobby now has resign. I can resign anytime I want. But I want that royal emissary dead, obviously. So I only have 4 resources. I can take a resource and throw some dynamite, which certainly seems like a strong play. That means that we're both taking a hit from the emissary. And we're both taking a hit from the emissary anyway. Yeah, okay. I'll spend my second action to play an emergency cash to gain 3 resources. And I will spend my third action to throw some dynamite. So choosing my connecting location of where the royal emissary is, deal 3 damage to it. Boof. And that cost me 5 resources, leaving me with 2. Okay, he is 1 from dead, and I am out of actions. Let's see, I did not move this turn, so I need to take a direct damage and horror and get rid of this last visions in my mind. So a direct damage to Mark. This happens at the end of my turn, so I do not get a card from that, because I already got that card during that phase. Puts me at 3 damage and 3 horror, because it's direct horror. So now I'm in the skulls zone. And that is the end of those effects. Nothing else. Enemy phase. The royal emissary moves in to our location. He is massive. And he attacks both Mark and Lola for 2 damage. So I will take it with Lola. She hasn't taken any damage yet. So she'll take 2 damage. And Mark will take 1 of the damage on the Venturer and the other damage on himself to try to stay out of Sophie range. Okay, the Venturer didn't get used, but that's okay. I guess I could put an ammo on the Colt, but whatever. I've still got 4 ammo on that thing. All right, and then at the end of the enemy phase, each investigator at the location takes a horror. So I'm going to take another horror, putting Mark at 4 out of 5 horror. Mercy. And Lola takes a horror, putting her at the 3 threshold. We can resign anytime, but let's see if we make it through the Mythos phase. Okay. Let's reset. Mark really does not want his weakness right now. He draws an On the Hunt. Yes, I will be doing that. Okay. And I'll take a resource. And Lola will reset, draw a card, which is a look what I found, not helpful, and take a resource, adding to her prodigious stack of resources. And we're on to the next Mythos phase. Okay, Doom number 3 of 6 on the agenda because of the 2 on Spires of Carcosa. And let's draw some encounter cards. Mark is going to do On the Hunt. Now, I don't normally go hunting for enemies in this situation, but I only have 1 horror left, 1 sanity left, and I can't afford a normal encounter card. So I'm going to play this during the Mythos phase and search the top 9 for an enemy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe I'll get a rats or something. 9. Spawn it engaged with me. Okay, I got a fanatic as an option. The Agent of the King is an option. That's a victory point character, but that's probably a little bold. And a rats. I'll just take the rats. Spawn the rats engaged with me. Okay, and then shuffle up the encounter deck. All right, and then Lola will draw a normal card. Of course, the plan here is to kill the Royal Emissary and get out of here. Make like a tree and get out of here. Okay, and then Lola's card is a fanatic. Okay, this spawns at the revealed location with the most clues. We're gonna tempt me like that, are we? All right, I'll put that over at the prop shop. And he'll take the clue off the prop shop. Oh, that means I get a victory point for that. Oh, very nice. Thank you very much for the victory point. Okay, and that is the Mythos phase. That was great. So now we just need to kill this Royal Emissary. We just need to deal it a damage is what we need to do. So let's start trying that with Lola. He does have Retaliate. Do I want to evade him? Because this is going to get nasty. I can hit him at 5. I don't have Sophie's availability. Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe I try to evade him with Lola. I got 2 charges left on the Enchanted Blade. Let's go for it. I'm just going to punch him. So Lola's going to hit him with the blade. This is going to be a 5-4 on the attack. And Mark, feeling like he wants to help out, is going to throw in a survival knife on this check. So we're going to go 6-4. Oh my God. Elder Sign. So let's see, for Lola, that is a, oh, I needed to switch roles before that. Obviously, I'm not cheating there. So I'm going to go to Mystic. So +2, and I can change roles. So don't need to do that. I'll just stay in Mystic. But the +2 is enough to kill the Royal Emissary dead. So he is put in the victory display. All right. And yeah, I'll just stay in Mystic. Now, when the Royal Emissary is added to the victory display, all doom is removed from play. The Spires of Carcosa will go away. And we reset the agenda. So we're back to agenda 1A, and it gives 3 doom on it. 2, 3. Okay, so now the question is there any reason for me to try to milk another VP out of any of this? No, the answer is no, I will die. So Lola will resign for her second action. Mark definitely does not want to draw another card because I could draw my weakness and end up with 2 less XP. So Mark is out of here too. Mark will resign. Right out from under that swarm of rats. And that's it. We're done. Excellent. That's a good run through of Curtain Call. That scenario can eat you alive. As you can see, we were getting really close. Mark was almost done with horror. I did have the Hallowed Mirror to possibly get me out of a little trouble there. Those hidden cards are nasty. Lola pulled a lot of great cards at the right time. really good ability to, that fingerprint kit is just great for speeding up a scenario. The fanatic came out right at the right time to grab that clue at the end. Super great. So let's go ahead and advance. The stranger gives you a slight bow as he steps through the lobby's front entrance, opening a glass door that was not there a moment before. A sudden cacophony of noise erupts around you, and you fear that the building has only seconds before it is destroyed. You flee, crashing through the front doors and leaving the ruined theater in your wake. Several blocks away, you take a moment to rest and think about what you've witnessed. The investigators must decide. We have to warn the police about what's going on, or the police won't believe us. We have to solve this mystery on our own. All right, I usually role play this decision. Now let's see, what would actress and a soldier do? Would they go to the police? I spend a lot of time backstage. There's a lot of paranoid people back there. I'm gonna say that Mark feels like he can handle this situation on his own, that the cops are just dirty, they're not gonna believe him, and we're gonna go ahead and solve this mystery on our own. So that's gonna be resolution number 2 that we're gonna select. You think about going to the police, but considering the horrors in the theater, they're more likely to think you're mad than to believe your story. A small part of you wonders if this is some kind of prank, but that can't be the case. It was all too real, too terrifying to forget. Wondering what course of action to take, you find yourself backtracking over your escape route, returning to the theater with cautious steps. The bright glare of headlights drills into your eyes as cars pass on the street, splashing dirty rainwater onto the sidewalk beside you. Soon, the Ward Theater comes into sight, its bright lights dominating the streets of downtown. You expected the theater to be in ruins, but its exterior looks the same as it did when you arrived to see the King in Yellow earlier that night. You walk to the front window of the Ward Theater and tentatively peer through, but it's too dark to see anything inside. Just then, a chill brushes the nape of your neck, and you feel that you are being watched. You turn and spot a shadow fleeing around the corner. A swarm of roaches skitters across the sidewalk, following in the shadow's wake. By the way, that's when I'd be out. I'd be like, I'm out. No, I'll take cosmic horrors, but F the roaches. Your muscles tense with uncertainty, and you round the corner in pursuit. Standing unconcerned on the sidewalk is a familiar-looking man in a featureless, pallid mask. His unwavering gaze bears down upon you. "Who are you?" you call out. The stranger does not respond, and instead turns and disappears into the alleyway behind the theater. You give chase, hoping for answers, but by the time you reach the alleyway, it is empty, save for a notice on the wall near the theater's employee entrance. "Don't be a wet blanket. Come to the King in Yellow cast party, 8 p.m. at the home of Constance Dumaine, 1452 Atlantic Avenue. Formal dress only." You tear the notice from the wall and take it with you, hoping it will lead you to the answers you seek. Do you think it was wise to not warn anyone? In the campaign log, record that you chose not to go to the police. Mark a doubt in your campaign log. In the campaign log, record that the stranger is on to you. The man in pallid mask weakness is added to the lead investigator's deck. That'd be Mark's deck. And so it just goes into his deck. In the campaign log under chasing the stranger, I'll put 2 tally marks. I did beat him twice, so that's true. And I earned victory X. All right, victory X in this case is I get the 2 from the emissary as he was out of play in the victory display when that ended. And that's all that's in the victory display. And then locations, I've got the prop shop, the balcony, the theater lounge, and the green room. I've got 4 on the board, so that's a total of 6 VP for that scenario. I think that's great. I'll take that every day. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you had a great time. I think that this is going to be a really neat run through. It's going to be certainly a little bit difficult to pilot Lola through this mess as the scenarios start to get harder. But with a good bunch of XP behind her, I might be able to make something doable as we progress along. Either way, it's going to be fun. I like to play with investigators that are a little on the wonky side. So I hope you enjoyed the playthrough, and I hope that you're looking forward to seeing the ongoing spoiling of the return to Path to Carcosa and I will be playing blind playthroughs all the way through. So thanks for joining me. This has been I've Got a Plan. You can find me on SoundCloud at Tim Paul, Timpaul, I've Got a Plan podcast, or on Facebook at I've Got a Plan podcast. You can also email me at tpfiscus, Fiscus at gmail.com, or you can find me on my YouTube channel, I've Got a Plan podcast. You can also find me around the place as Huckman T, either on Discord at Mythos Busters or Drawn to the Flame Discord, or on Facebook as Tim Fiscus on the Arkham Horror page there. I look forward to hearing from you. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you next time as we head to Constance Dumain's estate for The Last King.